management systems. All right, so for an overview, we were on this page, we went here. Here's where the syllabus is. Hopefully you found that already. The required readings. There was a little bit of confusion about this book here, Business Communication for Success, but I'm assuming everybody found it and found the free version here. I put this optional version on because I know some people, like myself, they might splurge. Now, I use this every time I teach the course, so it's nice to have an actual book as opposed to a PDF, and that's why I bought that. But I don't know how much it is, maybe $30. If you can save that money by just using the PDF, you're probably better off doing that. So that's why that's there. I try to push you to the free version, as you can see. That's why this is all there. Crucial Conversations, it's a really, fairly small, popular book. We will be reading this in the middle of the course. It's available from Amazon. You can even get this one audible.com and just listen to it in your car if you're traveling, if you have a long commute or something like that, if you don't want to read it. And I believe it's also available by Kindle. The OWL is a Purdue University website. We'll be using that website. And I'll click on there so you can see what that looks like. This is a great resource. It has everything that you could ever want when it comes to professional and academic writing. So we'll be using this, and we'll just be scratching the surface of this website. There's much more types of writing or types of documents that we won't get into, but I will point you to the fact that it does have job search writing, so resume writing, cover letters, things like that. This is a good place to come to. It also talks, another important thing, and we will talk about this a little bit in the class, is that it has the writing guides. So MLA, APA, we use APA in the Leadership Studies program. So that's the American Psychological Association writing style. Now, these are recommended books below here. I wanted to talk just briefly about this one. This is a book that I used in a course that I took when I did my master's program down at San Diego State. It is I did a course in the rhetoric and writing department at San Diego State, and it was on technical writing basically and professional writing, and I really enjoyed it. And what I enjoyed about it is it kind of opened my eyes to the possibilities out there for work with regards to writing, beyond being a journalist or being a novelist or something like that. This book has, it basically butts up against, like if you were an instructional designer and developing courses, you would have certain skills, and they would be kind of based on education, understanding pedagogy and things like that. But the technical communication is more about how to display information on paper. And they have all sorts of really beautiful illustrations on how to lay out documents. And I found out that there are professionals out there that just, most of them work from home or they have a small office, and they write documents or different types of documents for people. they're not necessarily experts in the subject area, but they're experts in how to display and relate information in a written format. So I wanted to put that one up there as a recommended read for that reason. The last one is all about leadership. This book, you folks all decided to devote 10 classes or 30 units to leadership, to get a degree that has an emphasis in leadership. And so I think it's important for you and for anybody that's seriously interested in leadership to become as much of an expert as you can on the topic. And this is a book that you buy you buy this one book and it could last you a lifetime. You might have to, at some point in time, you get the new edition, but this is 1,200 pages, and it's leadership theory, it's leadership research. It really soup to nuts everything about leadership from a very academic perspective. And when I say academic, I mean more from a rigorous and research-based empirical perspective, and not a popular book that the folks that wrote this book they did their homework, they did their due diligence and becoming experts in the area. So it's not an easy read. I wouldn't say it's an easy read. It's very very much an academic and professional text. Now, we will get into this book a little bit during this course. This is a recommended book. It's an expensive book. This book, the cover price on it is $125. The last time I saw it on Amazon, I think you could get, so $94 you can get the ebook. There are some great advantages to ebooks, by the way, if you haven't found that out already, with Kindle and being able to search the book and copy and paste the portions of the text into other documents and things like that. But anyhow, that's that. We will get into that book in week 3 or 4. I believe it's 4. So let's look at, I want to point your attention to this menu bar on the left. And I apologize if this is redundant or too basic for you guys, but I know that in the past people have had a hard time navigating my course, and I think it's because you had Joy before my course, and she might use Canvas just a little bit different. It's a powerful tool. It's a powerful learning management system. We both, I think, learned from the same instructional designer, but we might have had different takeaways. And my takeaway from the process was to use modules. Now, I don't know if Joy is using modules like I am, and I'm not sure if other instructors are, but that's pretty much how I kind of organize the course into weeks that are modules. So these are kind of like the general pages to the course. And then you get into week 1, week 2, and so on and so forth. So at least for the next 2 courses, this is kind of how your courses are going to be laid out. And then you'll have Renato, I think, after my data course, and he may or may not follow the same process. All right. So week 1, I'm not going to go into week 1 because you've already done that. Week 2 is this week. You should be working on your discussion posts. They're due on Wednesday, and then your replies, you need to do 3 replies, 3 posts, or 3 replies to your posts from classmates, and those are due. The replies are due by Sunday night. That's pretty typical for how, when we have discussion items, that's how the due dates will line up, Wednesday and Sunday. Go back to modules, and week 3, let me go in here so I could show you a view of the future here. Next week we'll get into writing. So this course is divided into 2 sections of communication. The way it differs from like an introduction to communication course is we're going to get right into workplace writing. When I think of the benefits of learning how to write, I think of being able to communicate in the workplace. And so we'll focus on writing and then verbal communication from that paradigm. Next week, we'll start by writing a letter or memo. There's only really 2 papers in this course. The letter memo paper, and then the second one, which I'll talk about when I talk about the signature assignments. There's one signature assignment that's a written product, and there's one signature assignment that is a verbal communication product. All right, so you will do that, and once again, you see the Purdue OWL there. They have a nice section on memo writing. The textbook has a nice section on memo and letter writing. There's a rubric. Let me point you to this. This is a rubric you may see, you're likely to see in other courses. Let's see. And I'm guessing you can't see it yet, right? Let's switch the screens here. All right, so this is the rubric for all the written assignments in this class. Actually, there's only 2. So the 2 written assignments, the memo letter and the white paper. You don't need to read this part. Just look at the second page. This is a rubric that that most of my colleagues in the leadership studies program are going to adopt. And it's in that way, it's somewhat general to all writing. Excuse me. It's also a rubric that is used beyond Humboldt State. It's been adopted by the Association of American Colleges and Universities. So this is something that is standardized throughout the United States universities and college systems. So if you can meet a number 4 over here, this should be kind of what you're striving for when you're writing your documents. Now, I just want to say something about the point values here. These point values are different than the course assignment point values. So what will happen is I will, if you add up 4 times 5, there's 20 points possible. So if you have a document that's worth only 10 points, then basically I will do the math, and the math is that basically for every point in this rubric, you're going to get a half a point for the course. So in other words, there's only 10 points possible, and you score a 20, say you get a perfect score, then you get a 10. You get a perfect score in the grading system. So I didn't bother to change the numbers of the rubric. I'm just going to give you proportional scores for how many points are available on the course. Obviously, or maybe not so much to you guys yet, but the two assignments, the memo assignment is not worth as much as the signature assignment, the white paper. So the white paper is like a research paper. It's going to be worth a lot more. So in that case, what I might be doing is giving you 1.5 points for every point on this rubric, or whatever it works out to be. All right. So that is the rubric for writing. Let's go back. Now, what you'll notice on your view of the course website is it goes from week 3 to week 9. So I haven't published week 4 through 8 yet, but I'll have that done by the end of the week. And we might take a look at those tonight real quickly if we have time. But let's look at week 9 first. And the reason I have week 9 up here is, I should have mentioned this while I was on week 3. There should be a reference to week 9, and there it is, number 5. Using link from week 9, schedule your online training session by this Sunday. So by next Sunday, the Sunday at the end of week 3, you need to schedule your online training session, and that is the second signature assignment. That's a verbal communication assignment. Online training session. That's what, actually it's called online leadership training session. So it has to be on a leadership topic. So how do you schedule that? You go to week 9, and this will take us to the module. But you can go either right here, click on this, and it should take you to a spreadsheet that's in on my Google Drive. And so you would just fill this out with your name. So, and then when you're going to do your assignment. So you really have to kind of look at your calendar to figure out when you're going to complete your online training session. And what that looks like is it's going to be a Zoom training session, just like we're doing tonight, where it's live and it's being recorded. So you might say, you can do these assignments anytime between week 3 and week 9. And you can do them at any time of the day, on any day of the week. Now, the caveat to that is that you want to have your classmates sign up, and they would sign up here, to attend your session. And if you want to put a limit on sign up, you can do that as well. But I want you to at least have 4 people or 4 spots open. But you don't have to have the entire class. But you would have your sign up there, and people would sign up to attend your session. Now, if you had a session that started at 2 in the morning, you might not get a lot of people that sign up. So it's your own choice on how you want to do that. But let's see, let me pick a date in the future. Let's say November 18th. That's a Saturday. So let's say we'll start I want to get this done early. So 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 a.m. or 8 to 9, 8 to 8:30. I think they're supposed to be, or I know they're supposed to be 30 minutes, no longer than 30 minutes. So 15 to 30 minute long sessions. The title, well, this has to be leadership related, right? So one of the reasons I'm assigning the first chapter in this book is that it has a lot of great ideas. Okay, here's a section And it's titled Leadership as a Power Relationship. Sounds interesting. So that's the title of the session. Description. Examine the Bass Handbook. Description and go further in depth. To understand. This is real general, and I'm just coming up with this off the top of my head, but something, you know, just some description, would any description about your, especially with something like this, because this is probably not the best description, because leadership as a power relationship, that's very vague. I'm guessing not a lot of people know what that is. So I think a better description, and now if I knew exactly what he was talking about, it's been a while since I read that section, I would put a better description in there, maybe plain English as to what Bernard Bass is talking about with that section. That would be a better description. And then attendees. So this is where you wouldn't fill this out. You would leave it blank. And then you can always put your Zoom meeting ID number in later. Just make sure that that's there the day of your meeting or the night before. Leave this blank because other people will come in here and fill it out. All right, let's see if we can get back out of here and back over to week 9. Click into week 9. There's some readings. Here is the actual assignment where you would submit your assignment. It's actually not open until week 3. That's when you can complete this assignment. Remember, anytime between week 3 and week 9, you can schedule that training session. There's a lot of time in between, but don't wait till the last minute. It's always a scramble at the last minute. That's why I have it open. That's why we're discussing it in week 2, so that we can get some people done with this early. And what's nice about that is if you are one of the people that finish early is you don't really have to stress too much towards the end of the course.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
You said that big book that you were just looking at for ideas. You said that we have to read that. Now, I didn't understand from the beginning. Did you say there's a PDF available for that, or no, or we have to purchase it?
Yeah, so if you go to Files, see if you have access here. And if you go to Leadership Readings, there it is right there. So it's only chapter 1.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's all we're going to read in this class. I mean, as you can see, as 1,200 pages, that's quite a book, and it would take several courses to just get through it. So there it is. I've already copied it for you. And it is there under Files, but it is also available. You're going to read that in week 4. So you don't see week 4 here, but I'll show you it in a second. And there's a link for it. All right. So is that it for week 9? Let's just take a real quick look here. Okay, so this is where you sign up. We already looked at that. Let's see if my name's in there now. Yep, see. The nice thing about the Google Doc is if you accidentally copy over somebody's topic or description or something like that, I can go back. Google Docs has a history of revisions, and so I can always go back to the last revision and save whatever data was erased. But that said, you have to let me know if that happens. If you accidentally delete something or delete someone's name, say you go over. One thing you have to be aware of is if somebody puts their name in here and then you want to go put your name in there, you might have to go up, let's see, to this bar, right? And then put a comma and then put your name. Now I'm just using the title box because attendees doesn't have anything, but let's put something in there. Let's put Dave. So now Dave's in there. So you go in here and Dave's already there and you click on it and your name is Sally. Oh, you know, just because you went in there, it just went right over Dave, right? So that's what's happened in the past. So you got to make sure that when you're actually going in, that you go up here, put a comma, and then put Sally, and then you should be good, right? Spreadsheet 101, right? Okay, so I think that's it for week 9. I'm going to give you a quick, let's see. I'm trying to debate whether I should show you the other weeks. I don't think we need to go into the other weeks right now. Week 4 is where you'll see that Bass reading, the big book. So you don't need to worry about it until week 4. And like I said, I'll have weeks 4 through 8 published by the end of the week, which is Sunday. The end of the week is always Sunday for me at 11:59 p.m. All right, so let me take a look here at my notes. Any questions while I'm looking at these?
I'm wondering how you sign up for that next Sunday if you have no clue what your presentation is going to be about and how long you will take to get ready. So what do you suggest?
Well, just like scheduling anything else in your life, you have to go to your calendar, and you have. Let's see, it's week 2 right now, so you have 11 to 13 days before this is due, right? To get it scheduled. So say you have 12 days to get this scheduled. So what I would do is I see what you're saying now. The Bass book, I really want you to read that chapter in the Bass book before you decide on what you're going to present. And that reading is week 4. So I think what I'm going to do is move I'm going to keep this on week 3, but I'm going to change the due date. So this will now be due Sunday, the end of week. Sunday, the end of week 4. So it'll appear here. What I'll do, I'll just edit it right now. So let's see what date that is at. Week 2, 3, 4. So the 11th. Does that sound right? 11/11. And what we'll do, is I'll put that on week 4 as well.
And also, would you have an example you can show us or share with us from previous classes just to get an idea?
Of the online training session?
Yeah.
Um,
It would be helpful for me. I don't know about other students.
no, that's a great idea. Let me think about that. I've never provided one, so I don't have any permission from students to share those. But I've got to do a little research to find a good one, and then ask the student if they're willing to share it. So let me look for that. So you can always wait to schedule. If you're not ready, if you absolutely don't feel like you're ready to schedule your online training session by the end of week 4, you're only going to lose 2 points for not scheduling it by that date. So it's not a lot of points, but I do. One of my philosophies when it comes to education is I'm not going to ask you to do anything unless I give you points to do it, because I think that there's a potential there for scope to expand the scope of the course without giving you and put more work into the course without really realizing it as an instructor. So everything that I've asked you to do has a reason. The reason I'm asking you to schedule your online training session early is because it takes a while to get that done. And as you can imagine, if we had 20, I don't know how many people are in the class, but if we had 22 people trying to complete their online training session the last week of class, it would be impossible to have those all scheduled. I think we're all sharing the same ID in Zoom, the meeting ID number. So that will prevent 2 people from having a simultaneous training session. So you cannot have, one reason to sign up early is so that you can pick the day and time that you want. Because somebody else has signed up for that day and time, you cannot sign up for that day and time. Does that make sense? All right. So week 4. Week 4, you will be doing the outline for your white paper too. So once again, I'm not going to ask you to write an outline without giving you points for it. So this is in addition to the points for the white paper. You also get points for doing the outline. So this is what they call chunking an assignment down into kind of bite-sized pieces so that you're making progress on it by getting it scheduled, by thinking about what you're going to present on, by doing the reading in BAS, and by doing your, if you did your outline, if you did your white paper on the same topic, it really helps you because you're doing research just in one area. So you can do your training session on the same topic as your white paper. You can do your verbal presentation, your verbal facilitation of training on the same topic as your actual paper, your research paper. I don't know if I mentioned this, but a white paper, a lot of people don't know what that term is, but it's also been called a background paper. And I see it as a practical workplace research paper is basically how I see it. And okay, that's pretty much everything I had. I will just close by saying, remember, this is a 8-week long course, which means you're getting twice as much as we're expecting twice as much work from you every week as we would expect from a 16-week long course in a regular semester. So if it feels at times like there's a lot to do, then just remember that it's an accelerated course, and I really don't think my courses are too burdensome. I try to get you focused on the big assignments early, so that you can put your time and effort into those, so that you can have a quality product. Actually, 2 quality products when you leave the course. One is a paper, a nice research paper, and another one is a video of the online training session, the leadership training session. I'd like to see those on Portfolium by the end of the class. So I'm going to ask to see at some point in time at the end of class that you put it on Portfolium, and I will give you credit for that. Like I said, I'll give you credit for everything I'm asking you to do. All right, so that's all I had. So any questions? Any more questions?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah. Hi, Helen.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to. Hi. How are you? So our presentations, are they going to be based on that one chapter we read from Bass? Sorry. Or is it going to be on anything related to leadership?
It can be on anything related to leadership. And you can, I don't have the examples of the video yet, but there are examples of the white papers, and I'll show you those real quick. So if you go to Files and you go to Professional Writing, Examples of White Paper. So this is an example of what a white paper looks like. It doesn't always have to look the exact same, in terms of format. And I have 3 examples, and this is probably the best in terms of grades for the 3 examples. But I wanted to give you an idea of 3 different examples. There's 3 different styles, in other words. So Stuart did a really good job with this one, and then we have a couple others that are pretty good too. So those are examples of topics, So the value of engagement wasn't something that was covered in Bass, but it is leadership related.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop sharing there. So any other questions?
I was thinking about the next small assignment, the memo or the letter. What kind of a topic should we pick? I know that a lot of the students in the class are working. I'm not. I'm just a student. So I was thinking about that. How do I come up with some kind of a topic to do a memo on?
Well, I wouldn't do a memo if you're not working. I would do a letter.
Okay.
So a letter is that's one of the reasons I included a letter as an option. So a letter can be written to just about any organization or individual regarding just about any topic. And I'm trying to come up with some in my head, but if something, say there was something that really stuck with you from shopping at a certain store. Say it could have been something good or something bad, but say that you have so much to say about it. You're thinking about it. You're thinking about the way, say it was something maybe customer service related, and the way that the person interfaced with you. And say you want to bring attention, you want to bring the attention of the organization on this particular aspect of customer service at their organization. So you could write a letter to that store you would have to figure out the right level. I think the general manager or the store manager is usually a good level for something like that. And you would write a professional letter, business letter, to this individual about this area of customer relationship that you would research. You would then, and that's how you bring the academic rigor into it. Is you actually take some time to find out, about whatever it is that kind of stuck with you about that experience. Something didn't seem right, or something seemed really exceptional in some way, and you want to kind of look into the subject a little bit more, the area of customer service, and so you could develop a really nice letter that shows that you know what you're talking about, and communicates that in a very professional way. That's just one example. I'm sure there's others, but the business letter would be the right format for that if you're not an internal employee. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think that there were some questions about the quizzes, and people were wondering what kind of format to expect with the quizzes that you're presenting.
I'm sorry, what was that, the last part?
With the quizzes that you're going to be presenting.
Mm-hmm. Great. Now, great question. The quizzes are right from the book, typically. It's basically either the book or some other material that we covered that week, or the weeks that are included for the quiz. So for the first quiz, it includes week 1 and 2. So you can expect those chapters of the Business Communication for Success book, the textbook. You can expect that those areas are covered. Now, the great thing about these quizzes is that you get 3 chances, 3 opportunities. So if you don't do good on the first one, you can go back and reread it, and try it again. The questions don't change. They might change order, but they don't change.
Are they multiple choice, or are they write-in? What kind of a quiz would it be?
Some of them are multiple choice, but and some of them are like matching or drop down type of, very short answer type of choices. I don't think there's any essay questions in these quizzes. There might be a short answer, but I think that quiz is towards the end. It might not even be in this course, but if it is, it's towards the end of the course. But usually they're more like multiple choice or matching or something like that.
Is there any
time?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
True or false too. There's some true or false.
And are they timed?
Yeah, they're timed, I think, but you have way more time than you need.
Okay.
Like, I think you get like an hour or 2, and they're not that long. So, I've never had anybody run out of time on the quizzes.
Are there any opportunities for extra credit?
Extra credit? Yeah, there is. There's an opportunity, and I just thought about this. This is the first time I'm doing this, but if you see any error on my course, any correction, and if I take action on it, if I think it's important enough to take action on, then I will give you extra credit. So I think you already get some extra credit for tonight. Just for the one, pointing out the Bass book reading came after the sign up. So I'll give you, it won't be a lot of extra credit, but I'll give you a point or two extra credit for that. Yeah. Other than that, I don't recall any. Sorry?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh. Other than that, so if you see something that doesn't look right in the course, or if I have the date from the last time I taught the course or something, if the link's not working or something like that, that's your incentive to basically reach out to me and tell me about it, because you'll get extra credit if I change, if I recognize that it is a mistake, it truly is like an error, and I change it, then I'll give you extra credit. So I think that's the only extra credit I have in this course. But
is there any out of the projects we're working on, is there anything related to the company that we're working with for our capstone project?
That's a good question. I think the answer is yes, but you have to. It's the signature assignments, so you have to take what you need from what you're doing with your capstone, with your leadership project or your career plan, something that you know that it's a big item, you're going to need to do it, you're going to need to research it. Focus your white paper, your research paper on that. So that's the way you do it. It's not a mandatory connection. It's more of an optional way to connect with your leadership project and your career plan.
All right. Okay.
And then the capstone, the way that Kurt's been teaching that course at the end of the program is really you're going to be using what's in the portfolio. So these two signature assignments that we're talking about, they will be in your portfolio. So he'll work with you to basically pull out what you have in there to basically showcase it and present it in the capstone. So you want to do. I guess what I'm saying is you want to do a good job on the white paper and the video, the online leadership training, because these are things that you're going to look back, in a year and a half on, and you want to be proud of yourself, right? You want to be like, yeah, I did this. This is really great work, And hopefully beyond that, something that you could share, especially the paper. Something that you could share, like if anybody, if you're applying for a job and they want an example of a writing example, or if it's good enough, you can take what you've done and submit it to a publication for consideration for publishing it. So it's a real good opportunity to do some professional writing and have that for future use. Any other questions? We won't have a lot of meetings in this class. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's not going to be a lot of lectures like this. where you are going to be required to participate is in your facilitate the online leadership training sessions, and then participate in at least 2 others. Oh, this is a place where you can get extra credit. So you're required to participate in 2 other training sessions, but you get extra credit if you attend more than that. Not just attend, participate. So I don't want people just to call in and not say anything and not participate unless the facilitator is not doing his or her job and they're not including you, then it's not your fault. But if there's opportunities to discuss and communicate on topics, which there should be in that's why they're called training sessions, basically. And that's why I'm asking you to be a facilitator and not necessarily a presenter, is because I want you to strive to have engagement with your classmates and find out what they know about the topic, bring them into it, and then get them engaged so that they actually learn more. People learn more when they're engaged. So, and it's a higher level skill than just presenting information. So that's why you're doing that. We're kind of aiming for the stars on this one, or to use a baseball analogy. I'm not sure. I believe the game 1 of the series is on tonight, but we're gonna swing for the fence on this assignment. We're gonna try to really hit it out of the ballpark, and do a really good job at training something about leadership, facilitating something about leadership with your classmates. So that's really where the engagement's going to be. And once again, you're required to facilitate yours, and you're required to participate in 2 others, and anything above and beyond that is extra credit for participation. All right, any other questions? Well, I want to thank everybody that logged on. I apologize for going over an hour. This video will be available on the announcement tab on the webpage. So if you want to go back and review something that I've said, you'll be able to do that. And last thing, office hours. So in the past, I've had regular office hours, but nobody came to visit me when I had those. So now I'm just going to do by demand. So you tell me if you need to meet with me, or if you want to meet with me, you tell me, and then we'll schedule a time that's good for both of us, and we'll meet. But other than that, we won't have regular office hours. All right. Any other questions before I'm going to stop recording first, and then I'll end the meeting. Let's see. All right.